I noticed how Lily kept glancing at Ryan, her ex, and it made my stomach twist in knots. It was supposed to be our special dinner, just for us to celebrate our love, but instead, it felt like I was sharing her attention with someone else. My heart raced as I thought about how unfair it was. I needed to take charge of the moment. So I raised my glass high and made a toast to Sarah, my wonderful new girlfriend, who stood next to me, looking brave and supportive. I could feel the tension in the air as everyone went quiet. As I stepped into the restaurant, the candlelight danced across the tables. It looked perfect for my anniversary dinner with Lily. I imagined us laughing, sharing sweet memories, and toasting to our first year together. But then everything changed. When Lily walked in, my heart jumped, but it dropped when I saw her holding hands with Ryan, her ex. Confusion swirled in my head, and betrayal clawed at my chest. Why was he here? I thought we were building something real. I had to stay calm. The air felt thick. I couldn't let them see me hurt or angry. I raised my glass and forced a smile. To new beginnings and true love, I said, my voice steady, even though I was a mess inside. Lily's face went pale. I'd to keep control. Every second felt like forever as I fought my feelings. The tension was heavy, and I could feel the eyes of other diners on us. I wanted to shout, to expose the lie happening right in front of me, but I focused on keeping my dignity. This was supposed to be our night, and I wasn't going to let it slip away. Lily, what's going on? I asked, my voice low but sharp. She hesitated, glancing at Ryan, who smirked like he owned the place. It's not what you think, she replied, but her eyes didn't match her words. Then what's it? I pressed, anger bubbling under my skin. Ryan leaned in, smug. She just needed someone who really cares about her, he said, his voice dripping with fake sweetness. I could feel my heart racing. Cares? You mean someone who plays games? I shot back, glaring at him. Lily's expression shifted, and I knew I'd to make my move. I thought we were happy, Lily. Was it all just a lie? The silence was deafening. I could see the doubt in her eyes, and it fueled my anger. I deserve better than this, I declared, standing tall. Maybe you do, she whispered, and I felt the weight of her words. In that moment, I realized I'd to choose my path. I wouldn't let them take my night, or my heart. I turned, ready to walk away, but not before I threw my glass down, shattering the illusion around us. Happy anniversary, Lily, I said, my voice cold as ice, and stepped into the night, leaving the toxic love behind. Just when I thought the night couldn't get worse, the door swung open. In walked Sarah, my best friend. Relief washed over me, but confusion quickly followed. I'd just seen Lily with Ryan, her ex. My heart felt like it was breaking. Sarah's arrival sparked a flicker of hope. Maybe she could help me understand this chaos. I watched as Sarah's eyes grew wide, taking in the scene. She spotted Lily and Ryan together, and I could see the questions forming on her lips. It was as if she could feel the tension crackling in the air. I needed her support now more than ever. The silence at our table was heavy, and I struggled to breathe. James, are you okay? Sarah asked, worry on her face. I shook my head, frustrated. How could I explain the betrayal that cut through me like a knife? Seeing Sarah only made the night feel crueler. I wanted to scream, to punch something, but I held it back. Instead, I forced a smile for Sarah, hiding the storm brewing inside me. The weight of unasked questions pressed down hard. Sarah's presence reminded me I wasn't alone, but the sight of Lily with Ryan overshadowed everything. I felt trapped, wanting to escape and find some clarity amidst the chaos swirling around us. Before I could say a word, Sarah turned to confront Lily. What's going on here? She demanded, her voice steady but sharp. Lily looked caught off guard, her eyes darting between me and Ryan. It's not what it looks like, she stammered, but I could see the lie in her eyes. Then what's it? I shot back, anger seeping into my voice. You're here with him, and I just saw you two together. Ryan smirked, crossing his arms. You should have known better, James. Lily never really wanted you. The words hit me like a punch. I felt my heart race, my hands clenching into fists. This was betrayal on a whole new level. "Get out of my face," I snapped, my voice rising. "You don't get to talk about her like that." But Sarah stepped in, standing strong next to me. "James deserves better than this. You both need to leave." Lily's expression twisted between anger and regret. "You don't understand," she yelled, but I couldn't bear to hear her excuses anymore. How could everything change so fast? One minute, I was excited for a special anniversary dinner with Lily, and the next, my heart was in pieces. When I saw her walk in with Ryan, her ex-boyfriend, I felt the ground drop from under me. Confusion washed over me like a cold wave. Why? Was she here with him? It felt like a betrayal, a punch to the gut. I wanted to shout, to demand answers, but I stayed quiet, my mind racing. Watching them together, doubt crept in. How could she bring him to our night? Anger bubbled inside me. I could feel my heart racing, each beat reminding me of the trust slipping away. "Lily, what are you doing?" I thought, but the words wouldn't come out. The air was thick with tension, and I could almost hear my heart breaking. I felt trapped in a nightmare where every second dragged on. This was supposed to be our moment, yet it felt like a cruel joke. Was our love even real? I wondered, panic rising. I'd to figure out what this meant for us. Suddenly, Ryan leaned in close to her, laughing at something only they understood. My stomach twisted. I wanted to scream at her, to tell her to choose, but I just stood there, torn between fighting for her and wanting to walk away forever. "This can't be happening," I muttered under my breath, my heart pounding louder than ever. In a flash, I realized this could be the end of everything beautiful we had. Or maybe it was just the start of a whole new mess. Either way, I knew I'd to confront her. "Lily, we need to talk," I finally shouted, my voice breaking through the noise. The moment hung in the air, and I knew it would change everything. The sound of glasses clinking filled the room, a sharp reminder of what was supposed to be our special moment. I raised my glass, feeling a mix of anger and hope. "To new beginnings and true love," I said, loud and clear, trying to ignore the storm inside me. I needed this toast to mean something, to cut through the noise. But there was Lily, my girlfriend, sitting next to her ex, Ryan. It felt wrong. Love was supposed to be pure, but here it was all twisted. I wanted to show Lily how much I cared, how I was ready to start fresh, but her past with Ryan hung heavy over us, like a dark cloud. My heart raced as I looked at her, searching for any hint of guilt or sorrow in her eyes. Instead, all I found was shock. Ryan smirked, enjoying the chaos like it was a game. My heart dropped. I couldn't let them see how much it hurt. I'd to stand tall. My toast was my battle cry, a way to stake my claim. I wanted to believe in love again, to think we could move past this mess. But as I scanned the room, I realized the fight for her heart was just beginning. My words floated in the air, a fragile dream battling the harsh truth of betrayal. "Why are you with him, Lily?" I blurted out, my voice sharper than I intended. She turned to Ryan, then back to me. "I thought we were celebrating," she said, confusion in her voice. "It feels more like a game to him," I shot back, pointing at Ryan. Ryan laughed, leaning back in his chair. "Oh, come on. Don't be so dramatic. You know she'll always come back to me." The tension rose. I could feel the walls closing in. I'd to break through. "Lily, do you want this? Do you want us?" Her eyes widened. I don't know," she stammered, glancing between us. Lily's reaction, during my toast, hit me hard. I was excited to celebrate our anniversary, but when I raised my glass, her face went pale. Guilt flashed in her eyes, and my heart sank. I thought we were building something special, but then she invited her ex, Ryan. That crushed everything. "Why? Would you bring him?" I shot at her, my voice tight with anger. "I thought it would be fine," she replied, her voice shaky. Fine? It felt like she was hiding something. I felt betrayed, like I was just a backup plan. Each smile she shared with Ryan pierced my heart, reminding me she mightn't be over him. Doubts flooded my mind. Was I just a placeholder in her life? Look, I need to know where we stand, I said, frustration bubbling up. I want us to be happy, she insisted, but her words felt empty. I was drowning in confusion. Every second felt heavy. I'd to confront her before I lost myself completely. I took a deep breath, ready to demand the truth. Are you still in love? With him? I asked, my voice low but steady. Her silence screamed louder than words. That's when I knew. I had to get out before I got hurt even more. I wanted to believe in us, but betrayal felt like a heavy stone on my chest. Every second was a reminder that something was wrong. I thought our love was strong, but then I saw Lily with Ryan. My heart twisted in pain, like a vice squeezing tighter every moment. Why would she do this to me? I muttered, anger boiling inside. How could she bring her ex to our anniversary dinner? It was like a slap in the face. I felt the trust I'd in her crumble, leaving me open and raw. Days passed, but I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal. Memories of us replayed in my mind, but were stained by her actions. I wanted to yell, to confront her, but I felt lost. How can I move on when I'm stuck in this mess? I asked myself. I knew I'd to deal with these feelings. I couldn't let her betrayal control me. I need to heal, I thought, but the way forward was foggy. I felt desperate to escape this emotional trap. It was time to take back my happiness, but that would take strength and time. The weight of betrayal was heavy, but I was determined to rise above it. Then, one night, I saw her again, laughing with Ryan at a cafe. My heart raced. "Lily!" I shouted, storming over. She turned, surprise flashing in her eyes. "What do you want?" she snapped, her smile fading. "Why did you bring him? Why did you ruin everything?" I demanded, feeling the heat of anger. She crossed her arms, a smirk on her face. "You think it's all about you? Maybe you weren't enough." My heart sank. "So, this was all a game to you?" "Maybe," she said, her voice cold. In that moment, I knew I'd to break free from this toxic love. "I won't be your fool anymore," I said, turning away, ready to reclaim my life. The storm inside me began to calm, and I took a deep breath. I was done being trapped. It was time to rise. I paced back and forth in my tiny apartment, feeling like a balloon ready to pop. I'd to talk to Lily about what happened. Anger and confusion twisted inside me. Why did she bring Ryan to our anniversary dinner? I couldn't let my feelings mess things up. I'd to be smart about this and get the answers. I knew confronting her wouldn't be easy. I took a deep breath and reminded myself that I mattered. I wasn't just a piece in her game. I deserved the truth. I decided I'd ask her straight up. "Why did you bring him?" I imagined her face, hoping she'd finally be honest. When the moment came, my heart raced like I'd just sprinted a mile. I stood in front of her, ready to spill my feelings without losing my cool. I wanted her to see the hurt she caused. I'd to stay focused, no letting anger take charge. As I spoke, I caught a glimpse of guilt in her eyes. This was bigger than just me. I needed to unravel the truth behind her actions. I was set to face the facts, no matter how much it stung. It was time to get answers, even if they cut deep. "Why did you do it, Lily?" I pressed, my voice steady but full of fire. She hesitated, and for a moment the air was thick with tension. "I thought it wouldn't matter," she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Not matter? You brought my worst enemy to our special night." I shot back, my frustration boiling over. "I didn't think it would hurt you," she replied, her eyes darting away. "But it did. You made me feel like I wasn't enough," I snapped, feeling the betrayal wrap around me like a cold blanket. Lily looked down, and I could see the weight of her choices hanging over her. This wasn't just a mistake, it was a crack in our relationship. I needed to know where we stood. "Are you choosing him over me?" I asked, my heart racing with fear. She bit her lip, and I could almost see the gears turning in her head. "No, it's not like that," she started, but I could tell the truth was far more complicated. "Then what's it like?" I demanded. The air was thick with tension, and I could feel secrets weighing us down. My heart raced as I looked at Lily. She was staring at me, then at Ryan, her ex. I needed answers, but fear gripped me. It felt like dark clouds were closing in, ready to crush me. "Why did you bring him?" I shot out, my voice trembling. She said it was just a coincidence, but I could see the way she twisted the truth. I felt like a piece in her game, and I hated it. Every smile they shared felt like a knife in my chest. "James, I didn't mean to hurt you," she pleaded, but her words felt hollow. How could she not see the mess she created? Did she think I wouldn't notice? The tension, the past, still hanging between them? I searched her face for honesty, but all I found was fear. She was hiding something, and I could feel it. With every second we stood there, the weight of betrayal sank deeper. I felt like I was drowning, struggling to breathe under the weight of her secrets. I had to break free from her manipulation. I needed answers, but all I felt was pain and confusion. Trust was slipping away, and that hurt more than anything she could hide from me. "Just tell me the truth," I shouted, the desperation spilling out. I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. The room felt like it was closing in, and I was ready to explode. I just wanted to know what was real and what was a lie. I crouched, behind the cafe window, my heart pounding like a drum. I watched Lily and Ryan laugh together, and it felt like a knife twisting in my chest. The cafe was cozy, with soft music and the smell of coffee, but I was in chaos. I felt like a ghost, invisible while they glowed with joy. Each smile they shared cut deeper, stirring up feelings I didn't want: anger, betrayal, and sadness. I leaned in closer, straining to catch their words. Ryan whispered something that made Lily beam. My stomach nodded. How could she be so happy with him? I thought we'd something special, something worth fighting for. But there she was, shining under his attention. Did you see the way she looked? At him? I muttered under my breath, clenching my fists. I felt trapped, like I was stuck in a nightmare. The woman I loved was so near, yet so far away. I wanted to confront them, to shatter this illusion, but fear held me back. What if she picked him? Taking a deep breath, I tried to calm the storm inside me. I couldn't let them see how much I was hurting. This was about more than just them. It was about getting my strength back. I was tired of sitting on the sidelines. I needed to take charge of my life. Suddenly, I spotted Ryan leaning in closer, whispering something else. Lily laughed, her eyes sparkling. That's it. I couldn't stand by any longer. I pushed myself off the wall and burst through the cafe door. "Lily!" I shouted, my voice slicing through the air. They both turned, surprise written across their faces. "What's going on here?" Lily looked caught off guard. "I was just... What?" I interrupted, my heart racing. "Having fun with him? Is this how you repay me?" Ryan smirked, a challenge in his eyes. "Maybe she's just having a good time, man." "Stay out of this," I snapped, my anger boiling over. "This is between Lily and me." Lily's expression shifted, confusion mingling with hurt. "What are you talking about?" "Don't play innocent. You're laughing with him like I don't even exist." Her eyes narrowed. "You think I want this? You think I want to be here feeling like this?" I stepped closer, my voice low but fierce. "Then tell. Me. Choose me. Right now." The cafe fell silent, the world outside fading away. I waited, breathless, for her answer. My heart raced as I stared at Lily, the air thick with things we hadn't said. It felt like a storm was brewing. I wanted to shout, to cry, to make her understand how her actions crushed me, but I just stood there, lost in a mess of emotions. "Why did you bring him?" I forced out, my voice shaking. I saw guilt flicker in her eyes, but she didn't say anything right away. Anger, confusion, and betrayal tangled inside me. Did she even care about our relationship? "I thought it would be okay," she finally mumbled, looking down. "We just ran into each other." Her words felt like a flimsy excuse, not strong enough to protect me from the hurt. I wanted to trust her, but doubts crept in, feeding my frustration. "Okay?" "This is our anniversary," I snapped, my voice rising. "You're here with your ex, laughing like it means nothing." Tears filled Lily's eyes, but all I could feel was the sharp sting of betrayal. I needed her to see how deeply her choices cut me. how they made me question everything we had. I couldn't hold back any longer. I had to know if our love was real or just a lie. The air crackled with tension as I stood there, facing Lily. Her choice to bring her ex, Ryan, to our anniversary dinner felt like a slap in the face. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. This wasn't just a dinner, it was a power play, a way to show who was in control. My trust in her was crumbling, and it hurt like hell. "Why would you do this?" I asked, my voice shaking. Lily shrugged, a smirk creeping across her face. "I thought it would be fun. Don't you want to get to know each other? Fun?" My stomach twisted. It felt like she was playing with my emotions, like a puppet master with strings attached. I could feel jealousy clawing at me. "This isn't fun, Lily. It's betrayal." She rolled her eyes, and that only fueled my anger. "You're overreacting. If you can't handle it, maybe you shouldn't be here." Her words hit me like a punch. I was losing my grip on reality. How did we end up here? I wanted to talk, to clear the air, but every time I tried, it spiraled into an argument. "Why can't we just be honest?" I pleaded, desperate for some understanding. "Honest?" she shot back. "You want honesty? You can't even handle the truth about your feelings." Her words stung, making me feel small. I glanced at Ryan, who was watching us with a smug look. I felt trapped, caught in a web of toxic love and manipulation, the weight of her choices pushed down on me like a heavy stone. "I don't want to fight," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "But this isn't right." Lily crossed her arms, her expression hardening. "Maybe you just don't trust me." Trust? It felt like a distant memory. "How can I trust you when you make decisions like this?" The tension hung thick in the air, each moment a test of my emotional strength. I was tired of feeling hurt and confused. I needed answers, but all I got was more chaos. Maybe this is the beginning of the end, I thought, my heart aching. I wanted clarity, but all I found was a dark cloud of unresolved feelings. How could we move forward when the past kept creeping back in, ready to bite? As I stood there, glaring at Lily and Ryan, I felt the tension crackle between us like a live wire. Ryan leaned back, that smug smirk plastered on his face, and I could feel anger boiling inside me. He was playing games, and I was tired of it. The way he looked at Lily made my stomach twist. Had I really been so blind to their betrayal? Lily's laughter with Ryan rang in my ears, and I could feel trust slipping away like sand through my fingers. I fought to keep my cool, but it felt like I was losing a fight I never wanted to join. We'd rules in our relationship, but Ryan was smashing them to pieces. He loved stirring up trouble, and here I was, trapped in the middle. I wanted to shout, to tell them how much this hurt. How could she bring him to our anniversary dinner? It was like pouring salt in a fresh wound. Each second felt like an eternity as I realized I was just a pawn in their sick game. I wouldn't let Ryan win. I raised my glass, forcing a smile, trying to take back some control, even though it felt fake. Then it hit me. This wasn't just about Lily and Ryan, it was time to stand up for myself. I refused to let them play with my feelings anymore. "Cheers," I said, my voice steady. I wouldn't be a victim. I was done being manipulated. I burst out of the cafe, heart racing and anger boiling inside me. Betrayal felt like a heavy stone in my chest. I couldn't believe what I'd just seen. Lily and Ryan? Together? It was like they'd ripped my heart right out. Days crawled by, but the anger didn't fade. It twisted into a deep sadness that wrapped around me like a thick fog. I replayed the scene over and over, trying to figure out where I went wrong. I needed help. I called my friend Sarah. "I'm a mess," I blurted out. "They lied to me." Sarah's voice was steady. "Healing takes time. You can't rush it, even if it hurts." I nodded, even though I felt like I was sinking. I tried to distract myself, but thoughts of Lily and Ryan kept creeping back. Their laughter echoed in my ears, and it felt like I was disappearing. To let it all out, I grabbed my journal. "This is stupid," I yelled, but I started writing anyway. I poured out my anger, confusion, and heartbreak. Each word felt like a little weight lifting off my shoulders. Slowly, I began to believe that this mess didn't define me. I was still worthy of love. I reached out to my other friends. "I feel so alone," I confessed. "You're not alone," one of them said. "We're here for you." Their support began to brighten my days. I realized I'd to focus on myself. I needed to rebuild my trust in love, even if it took time. It wouldn't be easy, but I was ready to fight for my happiness. Then, one evening, I got a text from Ryan. "Can we talk?" My heart raced again. What could he possibly say, I thought, but I was curious. I'd to know. I replied, "Fine, but you better be ready." As I waited for his response, I felt a mix of anger and hope. I wasn't going to let this betrayal hold me back. I was ready to face whatever came next. I was caught in a whirlwind of emotions, and I knew I couldn't handle it alone. I needed my friend, Sarah. I called her, and she rushed over, ready to help. Inside, it felt like a storm was brewing, and I desperately wanted to find some peace. When Sarah arrived, I dove right into the story of that terrible night. "I can't believe I trusted him," I exclaimed, my voice shaking. She listened, her eyes wide with concern. "It's okay to feel hurt. You're not alone," she said, her voice steady. Talking to Sarah was like lifting a heavy weight off my shoulders. "You have to let it out," she encouraged. "Scream if you need to." I hadn't realized how much I needed to vent until I started. The tears flowed, and for the first time since it all happened, I felt a tiny bit lighter. With Sarah by my side, things started to change. "You deserve better than being an option," she said, and those words hit me hard. Together, we made a list of what I wanted: trust, honesty, and respect. It was clear I needed to focus on myself and what I truly wanted. Having Sarah there made everything feel a little less dark. "Remember, asking for help isn't weak, it's brave," she reminded me. I felt stronger with each passing moment. My journey was far from over, but I could see a glimmer of hope. With Sarah's encouragement, I was ready to take each step toward finding my happiness again. After that awful anniversary dinner, I felt like the ground had fallen out from under me. I'd thought Lily and I were solid, but then she brought her ex, Ryan. It was like a punch to the gut. Trust? Gone. I couldn't believe she'd do something so hurtful. "Why would you bring him?" I demanded, my voice shaking with anger. She shrugged, her eyes darting away. "It was just a dinner. You're overreacting." Overreacting. My heart raced, and jealousy boiled inside me. I wanted to scream, to shake her, and make her see how serious this was, but I knew that wouldn't help. We needed to talk, to figure this out. "I can't just pretend this didn't happen, Lily," I shot back. "You need to understand how this feels." She rolled her eyes, and I could feel the walls between us growing taller. This wasn't how relationships should work. I realized I needed to set some boundaries. I'd to protect myself. As we argued, I felt the weight of her choices, her lack of respect for my feelings. "Love is more than just feelings," I said, desperation creeping into my voice. "It's about trust and honesty." Lily crossed her arms, defiance written all over her face. "Maybe you're just too sensitive." That hurt. Her words sliced through me. I wanted to shake her, to make her understand. But I knew deep down that if we couldn't talk about this, we were in trouble. The dinner wasn't just a mistake, it was a wake-up call. I couldn't ignore the signs anymore. I'd to make a choice. Was this toxic love worth fighting for? I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. "I need space," I said firmly. Her eyes widened, surprise flashing across her face. "What? You can't be serious." But I was. I wouldn't let this betrayal define me. I'd to look out for myself, even if it hurt. As I turned to leave, I felt a strange mix of heartbreak and relief. It was time to reevaluate everything, to find a love that respected me. When I think about my time with Lily, it's clear I missed some big warning signs. At first, she sent me mixed signals. One minute, she was telling me she loved me, and the next, she was shutting me out. It felt like a roller coaster, and I didn't know how to hold on. Then came the jealousy. Lily would flip out over nothing. If I laughed with a friend, she'd get all worked up. It made me question her trust. I should have seen that as a huge red flag, but I didn't want to believe it. Things got worse when she started playing the victim. Whenever I tried to tell her what I needed, she'd twist it around and make me feel guilty. It felt less like a team, and more like a game where I was always losing. And then there was her ex, Ryan. The way she talked about him made it seem like she still had feelings for him. I should have paid attention. Instead, I brushed it off, thinking love would fix everything. Ignoring these signs left me wide open for heartbreak. I thought love would save us, but it only led to betrayal. I thought we were fine. But then I saw her ex sitting at the same table. My stomach twisted. I felt anger bubbling up, but I didn't say anything. I should have spoken up, but I kept it all inside. "Why didn't you tell me he'd be here?" I finally blurted out. My voice was sharp. Lily looked taken aback. "I thought you could handle it. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it." "Not making a big deal? You're kidding, right?" I shot back. My heart raced. "You could have just told me." In that moment, I felt betrayal slicing through me. We were supposed to be partners, but it felt like she was hiding things. I wanted to trust her, but doubts crept in like shadows. "You never listened to me," she yelled, frustration spilling over. "You just assume the worst." "Maybe that's because you never share anything," I fired back. It was like a storm brewing, and neither of us knew how to calm it. I remembered all the times I felt she was keeping secrets. It made my heart ache. "How can we build trust when you—" "Don't let me in?" I asked, my voice low. Lily hesitated, her eyes darting away. "I thought you'd understand. I didn't want to hurt you." But it was too late. The words hung between us, heavy and cold. I felt the distance grow, like a chasm we couldn't cross. In that moment, I realized that without clear communication, love can turn toxic. Anger replaced warmth, and we were two people lost in a maze of misunderstandings. My heart felt heavy, like a stone, and I knew we could have avoided this if we'd just talked openly. "Let's start over," I suggested, but doubt clouded my voice. Lily shook her head, tears welling up. "I don't know if we can fix this." And just like that, I felt the ground beneath me crumble. Heartbreak hit hard, like a punch to the gut. If we didn't learn to communicate, we'd only keep hurting each other. After betrayal, everything felt like a thick, grey fog. I stumbled through the confusion of losing someone I thought I could trust. Moving on wasn't just an option, it became my mission. I had to dig deep and focus on healing. I learned that the toughest times can lead to the biggest growth. As I looked back at our relationship, I realized rebuilding trust would take a long time. I needed to figure out what I wanted for my future. So, I started taking care of myself. I picked up my journal and wrote down my feelings. I spent time with friends who'd my back, reminding me that it was okay to put myself first. Forgiveness? That was a whole different battle. I faced my anger and sadness head on. Each step felt heavy, but I knew I'd to push through. I discovered important lessons about love along the way. I learned that love shouldn't feel like a game or a fight. It should be built on honesty. Moving forward meant releasing the past, but keeping valuable lessons close. I won't forget, I felt like my world had crumbled when I discovered the betrayal. My heart raced with anger and confusion. "How could you do this to me?" I shouted, my voice shaking. I'd trusted them completely, but they'd taken that trust and shattered it. In that moment of heartbreak, I learned that pain can teach you things, even if it hurts. "You think this is love?" I said, glaring at them. They just shrugged, a smirk on their face. I realized then that I needed to be stronger. This wasn't just about losing someone, it was about finding myself again. I spent nights thinking about what went wrong. I deserve better, I told myself. I knew trust was like glass. Once it breaks, it takes time to mend. No one should treat me like I was worthless.